Now we're going to talk about the compensation plan. Now, there is a great comp plan video in the dashboard of the Online Business Manager, and it's under featured videos at the top on the left. And
your M8 director will email that out after the stream.
Yep, and we definitely want you to go and re-watch that. If you've been around a little while, we want you to watch it, want you to familiarise yourself, make sure you absorb the compensation plan. It goes for about 25 minutes, and Lee and I actually did it live on stage at our recent Super Saturday event, which was held on the Gold Coast, which is a one-day business training event. And that was in January of this year. Mm-hmm. So we're going to run through the comp plan here briskly and quite smoothly. However, we definitely want you to spend the time going back through the video comp plan as an addition to this business plan stream.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So let's talk about how the compensation plan works. Now, of course, we've got a list of all of our products. Yep. And for many people, they may not even know some of these, right? If you're brand new, you're going, jetpack? What's a jetpack? I've never seen that in the presentation. No, it's not, right?
All right. So how about I just, we won't run through the prices. You can see them on the screen. So I'll just run through just a quick explanation of each product. So
you do that.
So our jetpacks is basically, now I've got a funny throat, hold on, is our quantum state launch. I need water, hold on. We've got our quantum state launch and then branding. So these can be sold separately and they have an instant qualification. Then we've got our M1. So the M1 is our 17-day prosperity system plus the quantum state launch come in one program together, which is our M1. And as you know, to get qualified on that, once you've purchased your M1, you've got your 2 sales. And we'll talk about that and show you an example of that in a minute. Then we've got your M7 upgrade. So your M7 upgrade is for someone who's purchased M1 but wants to upgrade. So they can buy the M7 upgrade, and that will give them basically our M7 Beyond Freedom Evolution content and also recorded content from our first Foundation, Sovereignty and Influence live events. Then you've got M7 Fast Track. So that's someone that wants to buy the M1 and M7 together. They obviously get a little discount for that, and they also fast track their qualification, which we'll show you in a minute. So they get both the M1 and the M7 upgrade program together. Then you've got our M2 Sovereignty Live, which is starting this week, which we already mentioned, which is an 8-day virtual event and a 3-day physical live event.
You're actually buying the 8-day and the 3 days.
You're buying the virtual ticket and you get the free ticket to the live. And like we said at the moment, so the next live is going to be the cruise next year, which is filling up very fast. I think it's like 90-something%.
Now the cost of the ticket is for 2 people.
Yes.
And it's just for the attendance to the event. So if you attended the cruise next year, you'd have to get your airfares and your cruise accommodation on the ship are at your expense.
Yep, exactly.
There is a lot of things that are included throughout the event, entertainment, that sort of thing. And of course, your cruise cost includes all your food as well.
Mm-hmm. Cruises are really cool. So then we've got our Influence Live event, which is our 12-day virtual and 5-day physical live event. Once again, for 2 people, same as before. Then we've got our M6 video pack, which we'll talk about at the end of the stream. And then we've got M8. So M8 is not a product, it's a level. So an M8 director is someone that's qualified across all the products. Okay. So that's pretty much it.
All right, awesome. Let's move on to the next one. So there's 3 ways in which we earn money within our business. Number 1 is a direct sale. So that's when somebody gets started, they buy the M1 or the M7 Fast Track, you're the qualified director, and you make the profit. They pay you, you keep the profit, and you pay corporate. That's a direct sale. And that's what we are. We are a direct sales business. You don't share that profit with anyone. It's not split across multiple levels of an upline like MLM. And that's what differentiates us to a multi-level marketing business. Then we have leverage. Now, leverage is where we're actually getting paid and rewarded for working with that person to train them up and to get them in action so that they can get qualified to be in a profit-making position. So leverage is when they create a lead, that person decides they want to get started, and they will then be a pass-up sale to the director. And of course, once you purchase the product yourself, you're required to pass up 2 sales. And those first 2 sales go through to your director, and they pay and compensate your director for not only the work that they're doing with you, but also the work that they will continue to do with you and the support into the future. All right. So it's their way of getting paid, right? It's an incentive that if I work with you and assist you with Q&A calls and being a mentor and a guide and being there to support you and answer questions, then I'm going to get rewarded for putting in that effort. So it's an act of service.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, number 3 is residual income. Now, this kicks in when you are qualified at the director level for the events. So when you're a qualified M2 or M3 director and somebody in your organisation buys their ticket and then they decide to repeat the ticket next time round, that becomes what's called a repeat ticket, which is residual income. You haven't had to go and find a new customer. You haven't had to go and do any extra advertising or marketing. It's purely residual income. So let's look at example, the upcoming event. If Lee and I had 10 people buy their M2 ticket, we know that how much do you make on an M2 ticket, Lee? How much do we make?
US.
We make $5,000 US. Now, if we've got 10 people that buy their tickets off us, that's how much?
$50,000.
$50,000 that come into our business in residual income. So we've not had to do any extra marketing, advertising, or anything. All we've had to do is support those people. They've made the decision to go to the event, and we get a residual income of $50,000. That's on top of all the effort that we make on the front end, right? So they're the 3 ways that you can actually be earning an income through the business compensation stream, profit centers. So let's run through the numbers and show you how the money flows. So let's say, Lee, that this is your register and you're qualified at M1, M7, M2, and M3.
So the qualified M8 director.
Qualified M8. All right. You want to go through it?
Sure. So I'm going to place ads, follow the system, and I'm going to have Kirsty get started. And she's going to buy her M1. So I make $18.28 direct profit. I'm going to take Kirsty through some training. She's going to place some ads, and she's going to have Miles get started. Miles is going to buy his M1. I make $18.28 leveraged income from Miles. And then she has Kim get started. I make another $18.28 leveraged income from Kim. So Kirsty has brought in 2 sales. So she's now a fully qualified M1 director. Happy days. So keep clicking. You're a slow clicker today. Kirsty's now got her registers open for M1 and that's it. So she's an M1 director. So she's going to keep doing what she's doing. She's going to have Simon get started. Simon's going to buy his M1. Kirsty makes $18.28 direct profit. She's going to teach him what to do. He's going to go through the training. And then Agatha's going to get started. That's $18.28 leveraged income for Kirsty. Then we've got Chrissy. Chrissy buys M1, another $18.28 leveraged income for Kirsty. So Simon's now a fully qualified M1 director.
Happy days. And then I can go off and start building my M1 register like Kirsty.
Exactly. So let's now run through this at the M7 level. Now, the cool thing to know is whether you're qualifying at an M1 or M7 fast track, your sales don't have to be the same product. So it could be that someone buys an M1 and an M7, an M7 fast track, or it could be 2 M1s, could be 2 M7 fast tracks. It doesn't matter. There just has to be the 2 sales. Okay, so Kirsty this time starts at M7 fast track. So $5,000 direct profit for me. Then Miles buys his M7 fast track, $5,000 leveraged income. And then Kim, $5,000 leveraged income for me again. So I've just made $15,000 just from bringing in Kirsty. Now, Kirsty's fully qualified M7 director, so she can now open her M1 and M7 registers, okay? So this time, Simon's going to follow suit. He's going to buy his M7. So Kirsty's made $5,000 direct profit. We then have Agatha, another $5,000, this time leveraged income for Kirsty. And then Chrissy, another $5,000 leveraged income. So Kirsty's now made $15,000 and Simon's now a qualified M7 director. However, Simon's a bit of a big thinker and he decides that he wants to become what's called an M8 director. So someone that's qualified across all of the products.
So what's the first thing I need to do is just put myself in a position to get qualified?
Yep. So Simon's going to buy his M2, M3 and his branding, which is not on here. But basically, he's going to buy that from me because Kirsty's not qualified on those products. Okay. So Simon's brought his M2, so I made 5,000. He also brought his M3, I made 8,000. Okay. Now, for Simon to get qualified, the M2 and M3 registers are slightly different. So first of all, what's a register?
A register is just a line of purchases in date order of people that buy a product of a particular product. So each product has its own list, or called a register, which is also an old accounting term. So you have a list or register of people who have purchased the product by date order from when they paid.
Perfect. So the M2 and M3 are basically what we call team sales, okay? So let's say, look at the M2, the M3 works the same way, but they are separate registers. So for Simon to get qualified, what has to happen is there needs to be 4 sales after him, so a line of 5. Now, the cool thing is Simon doesn't have to bring all those people in. It's team sales, so it's my register. So it's anyone that's buying the M2 from me.
In your organisation.
In my organisation. And it's based on time and date. So let's say that Bex decides to buy her M2. So there's Simon's first qualification sale, and I obviously made 5,000. Then we had Kathy, I make 5,000. There's a second qualification sale. Then we've got Brooke, I make 5,000 from Brooke, third qualification, Brooke's cheering. And then Peggy, who makes 5,000. And that's basically the last qualification sale for Simon at M2. So he's now a fully qualified M2 director for life. You never have to qualify again on it, which is great. The M3 would work.
You just made $33,000.
I did make 33,000. And so the M3 works exactly the same way. Now, this is a moving line. So if there was John under Peggy, then Bex would be qualified. If there was Sam, then Kathy would be qualified. So it's a moving line.
So every time somebody buys their ticket, somebody else above you is getting qualified as a director.
Exactly, yeah. Now, cool little story. So when I became an M8 director, I actually bypassed my enroller. So a bit like you did, Simon. So you bypassed Kirsty, right? I bypassed my enroller, and I actually counted as a qualification sale for her on M2 and M3. Now,
in other words, she had already bought ahead of you.
Yes.
You bought below her, which then meant that you were on Michael's register and you were one of the qualifying sales to help qualify her.
Correct. Yes. So that can also happen. And I was qualified in 2 days because the registers were moving so fast because there was an event coming up. So, cool thing is you want to get on the register as soon as possible so you can get off the register. And the best time to get on the register is when you're still in qualification for M1, M7, because what that means is while you're working on getting qualified at M1, M7, your M8 director is working on qualifying you at the higher levels.
And sometimes you can be pre-qualified at the M2 and M3 levels, and we might have already done the work in the behind the scenes. By the time you get qualified on the M1, M7 register and you pass up your 2 sales,
and you can be fully qualified.
Across
the board. And that's happened actually quite a bit in our business, which is super cool. So someone then gets started, their first team member signs up and goes M8, and their first sale is an M8 out of the gate.
Could be $19,000 to you straight out of the gate.
Which is very cool. So back to zero for a minute. Okay, that's okay. So basically, if Kirsty then decided to become an M8 director after Simon, then Simon's not going to go back to Kirsty. Simon remains on my register forever. So if he buys repeat tickets, as he has for the last 15 years, he's going to keep buying those from me. So if someone bypasses you, then they don't come back. So that's a good point to make.
And you think about it, every time we buy a ticket, then our enroller makes money, right? And we've been around 15 years. So you go to lots of events and I buy my ticket just like everybody else does. And of course, my enroller makes the profit, right?
Exactly.
So like I said, the longer you build your business, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And the more successful you build your business wide and you build your business deep, then of course the longevity and you stand to expand your business.
Mm-hmm.
So often we talk about in business a 3, 5 and a 10 plan. And so let's talk about what that is. So a 3 plan is what we recommend as a business for a business owner. It's a recommended base starting point. So what are they? Well, a 3 plan is basically qualifying 3 prospects per day, 5 days a week So it's a very part-time plan. Now, when we say qualifying, you might generate 6 leads, you might disqualify 1, leave messages for 2, and you might talk to 3 and qualify them, right? So that's an example as to what qualifying means, inviting them to look at the information.
People that have ticked the boxes when you've spoken to.
Now, keep in mind, we don't send our information out to everybody. We don't send it out willy-nilly.
You don't send it if you haven't had an interview with someone over the phone.
Never. We're not here to just bastardize our business and send it out to every Tom, Dick and Harry that applies. Not everyone that makes an inquiry is somebody that necessarily is going to be suitable. They may not necessarily be somebody that you're looking to work with, or they may not show up in the right way. They may not have big enough goals. They might just not be in alignment with what we...
You've got to think of it this way. Whoever you send the presentation to, you might need to work with them for the next 20 years. So you want to make sure they're the right people that you want to hang around.
Yeah. So that's why we use the script, and that's why it's really important to follow the script, read the script, and follow it to a T. Lee and I both use the script 100%. We don't deviate from it. We use the script. We use it to the advantage of what it's designed for. And that is it's a process. It's designed to provide clarity. It's designed to put people through a process that's systematic, and then pop them out the other side, right? Or disqualify them. So we do a 3-plan, a 5-plan, or a 10-plan. So a 5-plan is you're looking at approximately 3 sales per month. 3-plan is 1 to 2 sales a month, and a 10-plan is looking at approximately 6 sales per month. Now, obviously, you might experience higher or lower results than these yourself, but this is just a company average. All right. So let's look at same sort of thing. And we know that an M8, if you're a fully qualified M8 director doing a 3-plan, you stand to make approximately $100,000 in a 12-month period. Yep. If you're doing a 5-plan, you would be looking to make in excess of $250,000 as an M8 director. And as an M8 director doing a 10-plan, we would expect you to be earning over $500,000 profit in your business. Lee, is that correct? Can you earn that sort of money?
Well, I made more than that doing less than a 10-plan.
Yeah, there you go. So certainly these are factual statistics that we know to be true in our business. And we know that if you're doing the activity and you're qualified at all the products, you stand to be very profitable within your business. All right, so let's look at an example of a 3-plan itself. So let's say I've been in business and this is a full 12-month period of me being consistent, doing 90-day plans back to back, and I've achieved a 3-plan. Now, in this example, straight up, I'm an M1 director. So in that 12-month period, I've enrolled 24 new distributors, okay? Now, out of those 24 new distributors, we know, let's just say that all 24 of them started M1, all right? So I'm going to make 1828 times 24.
Yep.
So that's going to give me $43,872 US.
Great.
Now, in Australian dollars, that's going to be about 60 grand, which is nice. Thanks for coming. And what is that, Lee? I mean, that's a good income for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty good side income. And can you turn the camera off on that one, please? If you can go and find it. All right, so pretty good side income. Now, let's say you're at M7 Fast Track. Now, for M7 Fast Track, we know statistically in the business that 50% of people are going to come in and buy the M1 program, and the other 50% are going to buy M7 Fast Track. Now, this is just company average. So we see about a 50-50 split. Now, you'll see some distributors who have a higher level of M7 Fast Tracks, and you'll see some that have a higher level of M1s, right?
Yeah.
It just depends on your marketing, your quality of the leads, the information that's getting put in front of them. Now, let's say at M7 Fast Track, we know that 50% are going to start at that level. So that's 12 sales out of the 24 times 5,000. And then I'm going to have 12 people buy M1. That's my 24 from above, remember? But in this case, I'm an M7 Fast Track qualified. Now I'm going to make $81,936 just by being qualified at that higher level. Now, this is with no residual income. This is with no leveraged income yet. This is purely work on my own effort. Now, in Australian dollars, Lee, that's about 130,000 Aussie dollars.
Nice.
Now, that's a lot of money. There are so many people in life that strive to achieve a six-figure income and they've never achieved it before, but they can do it here if they actually follow the process and do the activity. All right.
Yep.
Now, let's talk about the leverage on top of that. So remember, we spoke about the leverage is working with those people to get them to create profit sales to pass up their 2 qualifying sales.
Yeah.
So let's say that out of those 24 people, that 10 of them over that 12-month period complete their pass up sales to me.
Yeah, because some obviously just got started as well. Yeah.
So let's say 10 of them pass up those sales to me. So that's 20 new team members that are coming into my business. So I've found 24 new people in that 12-month period.
And they've done 20.
I've enrolled them, and 10 of them have passed up their 2 qualifying sales, and I've got 20 new team members. Now, out of those 20 new team members, again, statistically, we know that 50% will buy M1 and 50% will buy M7 Fast Track. So that's going to give me an additional $68,000 in income. I'll add that to my M7 level of 81,000, and I just earned $150,000 US dollars profit in a 12-month period.
Nice. It's pretty good.
Now, is that hard?
No, it's a simple process.
It's a simple process.
Do the work, though. It's not.
Is it easy?
No.
What's not easy?
Well, it's not. You've got to do the work.
You can do the work.
Like easy means you don't have to really do much.
So if people do the work, do they get the result? Do you know that people in the business do the work and get the result? Yeah. So those that don't get the result, what are they not doing?
The work.
The work. Right. All right. So it's a numbers game, right? So let's have a look at the numbers. Let's say you're killing it. You're doing 2 sales a week, right? You've reached the level that Leanne did early in her business, and you're creating success, and your goal is to be up there, right? You want to be a leader in this business. So you're going.
So my first big year, I did 110 M1s, just so that we can compare.
All right. So in this example, we're gonna just work out that everyone starts at M1, but we also know that 50% of people that start at M1 will upgrade to M7 Fast Track.
So
right? They'll buy their M7. Actually, they'll upgrade to M7U. So let's say that we've got 100 people that joined our business in the 12-month period. It's 180 grand rounded.
Yep.
Now, 50% of them decide that they want to be an M7 director, so they buy the M7U program.
Yep. And that's company-wide stats too.
Right. That's giving me another 180,000.
Nice. Double income.
Right.
For no extra work.
Then we know that 1 in 4 people, write this down, 1 in 4 will buy all of our products and become an M8 director.
And even if you're only M1 or M7, they're still going to buy that, and that's going to bypass to your upline M8 director.
Now, I want to share this with you.
So
when I came into this business, one of the things I knew was that I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to be rewarded for my efforts, and I wanted to make the money. There's no way I wanted to be doing the work and seeing that money go past me and go to my director, Rachel. Even though I loved the support and the training and everything else she did for me, I didn't want to pass up money to Rachel, right? She'd love me forever if I did that. That was not my goal. My goal was to replace my income and make money. Why would I allow money to go past me to Rachel, my director, just because I hadn't stepped outside my comfort zone and made that decision to play full out, right? And if I went and bought a franchise, I can tell you one thing, that you do not find a franchise that earns you the profitability that this business does for anything under $100,000, right? You can't. So if you went and bought a franchise that costs you a couple of $100,000, you got to work long hours, you got to deal with lots of staff, headaches, issues, and you still won't make the money we have the potential of making here. So you've got to relate this business to an investment in yourself. You know, Lee, so many people are prepared to invest in a formal education.
Yes.
So I bet you there's many of you out there listening to this, many of you, not all of you, that have gone and got a formal education. In other words, you've gone to university and you've paid for a university degree. Now, what did it cost you? $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in some cases. And how much time did you spend learning your craft?
Years.
3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Did you make any money while you did that? No. So you spent $30, $40, $50,000 to get a piece of paper that qualified you with a certificate so you could go and get a job that hopefully paid you well enough to pay back your university debt, right? But while you were doing that, you didn't earn your money. Well, you might have had a side hustle. You might have had a bit of a part-time job. But the point is, you didn't make any money from the career that you were studying.
Well, like my friend's she's studying to be a dentist at the moment, and she's spent, I think, what did I say, like nearly 200 grand for 5 years.
Yep.
And she doesn't get paid.
And she's earned nothing, right? But what's the intent? The intent is to become a dentist and make a killing. We all know dentists.
It doesn't guarantee you a job, though.
We all know dentists get paid well, right?
Yes.
What's that ad with that? Dentist can't. It's turning around as a TVN, Oral B. But what's the dentist's name? Wasn't it? Was it Rob the dentist?
I don't know. Anyway, continue on.
Anyway, so the thing is that are you treating this business like you would an investment in you? Because in life, so many people are prepared to invest in a degree and spend the money and make nothing to learn their craft. Yet a lot of people stumble or balk over the fact of investing in their products here because they don't relate it to the same thing. But I'm telling you, it is. And no different to going and spending $100,000 on a franchise. Lee, you're a franchise owner before. You know what franchises are worth, right? You know what people spend on franchises.
A lot.
Right? And it doesn't guarantee you success. It doesn't guarantee you that you're going to make a crap load of money.
Nope.
In most cases, a franchise is, just
buying yourself a full-time job.
Yeah, got to recommend a job. I heard someone the other day, there's a franchise in Queensland called City Cave, where we go for our floats and our massages and saunas and love it, right? But their franchises are $300,000 to $400,000 to buy a franchise. Now, will you make that money? What time frame will it take you to make that money and to pay off that investment? Could take you 5 years. Could, right? So again, you've got to treat this business like a serious business. What am I here for? What's my goals? What am I looking to get out of it? And what I put in, I will absolutely get out if I follow it up with action. So let's go back to our checklist here. We got 25 people that have bought all the products, Lee, and you've earned $710,000 US.
That's pretty fun.
Have you earned that?
I've earned more than that, yes.
Absolutely. And between us, we also earned $257,000 in a single month.
US.
Now, would you believe that was possible before you?
Not when I first got started. My goal when I first got started was to make 10,000 in a month. And then when I did that, I was like, oh, maybe I could do 50. And then once I did that, I was like, oh, maybe I could do 100. And then, so as you achieve things, your mind stretches and you're like, oh, I could do something.
It's a bit like the 4-minute mile, right? When the 4-minute mile got broken, there was many people that started to break the 4-minute mile. It was never achievable until somebody did it. And then all of a sudden it became achievable. So then others were able to do it. So if you're doing 1 sale per week as an M1 director, you'd make around $90,000. As an M7 director, $180,000. And as an M8 director, $360,000 just by doing 1 sale a week.
That's like 4 a month.
Look, it's not hard. Can you do this? Yes, you can. But do you want to pass up?
The builder.
I did. But do you want that money, or do you want to pass some of that money up to your M8 director?
No,
That's what you've got to
pass it up. Totally.
That's what you've got to ask yourself. So don't leave the money on the table. You're either working for yourself or you're working for an M8 director. Okay. All right. 1 sale every second week.
That's 2 a month.
We're doing part-time. M1, $45,000 as an M1 director. $90,000 as an M7 director. And if you're an M8 director, 180. Why would you stay at an M1 director and earn 45,000, knowing that all of that money, the balance, the 135, is going to go to mine roller?
So if as an example, if you're M1, then basically, the balance of that, so 180 minus 45 is being passed up.
Yeah, that's what I said, 135,000.
Yeah.
So do you want to pass up that money if you're at M1, 135,000? That's statistically, we know how the percentages of sales and how it plays out. All right, let's talk about some important details about becoming an M8 director. So first of all,
so you want to choose your level. So either you're M1 director making 1828, M7 making 5,000, or M8 making 19,000. It's the same amount of work. You're doing the same work.
Yeah. The M8 director is set from the day that someone purchases their product and never changes. So in other words, go back to the example we went through. When I decided to upgrade, Kirsty wasn't qualified. She hadn't even bought her products. So I rolled up to Leanne. Leanne made $14,000 from me.
And Kirsty, then another $14,000 every time you repeated, brought Leanne to an M3.
Kirsty was crying because she just lost $14,000 and she realised that she wasn't, playing a big enough game.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon Kirsty's going to do?
Upgrade.
She's going to upgrade and buy M8 because she realises that she doesn't want to pass the money up to somebody else, right?
Yeah, all right. I think that most someone's done that as twice and then they've realised.
Well, we had one of our team members 2 years ago who wasn't an M8 director, and two of her people that got started that both went M8, and she passed up $28,000 US.
We were happy to take it.
And guess what happened? What did she do then?
She upgraded.
She upgraded and became an M8 director. But she'd missed out on those two sales because she was too slow to act, right? So she didn't actually believe in herself to go and be a leader. Instead, she thought, oh, I'll wait and see how it goes. I've got other things to deal with. I'll just deal with those and I'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
All right. So your goal is to become an M8 director as soon as possible. Everyone deserves to be qualified across all the products. Each product can be purchased separately.
So if you're not ready to go M8 right now or you don't have the funds, you can just buy, let's say, your M2 ticket and get on the event. Virtual event and get your ticket for the cruise.
Yeah. So if you just wanted to do that.
A couple of people do that actually recently. Yeah.
We have. So we've had a couple of people step up and buy their M2 ticket because they want to be on the virtual. And look, there's no time like now. At the end of the day, you can buy your ticket and we can get it organised and you can still be on there. Even if you happen to miss the first or second day, they're all recorded. So you get all the recordings, but you only get the recordings because you purchased your ticket. All right. So a bit like Stephen Bradbury, right? At the end of the day, he skated through and won in an amazing race. And what actually happened, you can look it up on YouTube, Stephen Bradbury, Salt Lake, gold medal win, and it's on YouTube. And he was coming dead last as he came around the corner and approached the finish line. And the person in fourth took out the person in third, and they became skittles on the ice and slid across and took out first and second. And they all fell to the ground. This is them in the background scampering to get back up. They all fell to the ground, and he skated through with his arms in the air, thinking all his Christmases had come at once.
Which they had.
Right? Now, what's the moral to the story?
You got to be in it to win it.
You got to be in it to win it. You got to do the work. You've got to be consistent. You got to believe in yourself. You got to show up. All the things that we spoke about during the section of mindset, right? It's so important because you never know when you're going to put yourself in the position to win. Okay, so what is on offer here? So if this is your first business plan stream, you're brand new and you've not done one of these before, this is on the back of, some of you may have also attended Shane and Rachel's special call last week, and this is on the back of that call. If you haven't been to the special call with Shane and Rachel yet and you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, then you will get invited when that comes around to the next one. But if this is your first business plan stream, then there is an offer at the end of this for new people only. Now, it gives you the ability to consider taking the M8 upgrade. Now, when somebody buys M2 and M3 in branding, that completes your M8 if you're at M7. If you're at M1, you would have to buy the M7 upgrade, the M2, the M3 and the branding. And then once you've done that, the company is going to reward you with a free bonus. And that is called the Video 6-Pack offer. Now, it's a marketing package valued at over $25,000 US. Now, these are just some of the photos that have been done through the marketing package by some of the photographers. And what it does is it gives people the opportunity to build a really professional executive marketing package for their business. So how do you explode your business? You explode it with this opportunity. Now, you'll get to work directly with Shane, Rachel, and Greg Strong and the Prosperity of Life film crew to develop marketing elements as they relate directly to your business. Now, those elements and assets include your branding. So you'll work with Greg Strong. Greg is the other partner of Prosperity of Life and is a specialist in the media production and marketing production sectors. So you work with Greg about creating a logo, a tagline. It'll be designed for you to suit your lifestyle. It'll give a marketing message that you can use to market your business. Now, you'll also work with our film crew in Portugal and get a series of headshots, lifestyle images for you to use. You'll get B-roll video, which is free-flowing video of you out and about. You'll get a homepage piece and a thank you video for your website. You may have seen Leanne and mine. You may have seen your M8 directors. These are all done as part of this marketing package. Now, this is a reward that the company gives those who are big thinkers to go, you know what? I want to invest in all the products. Company says, great, we're going to reward you. We're going to give you this package. All you've got to do is get yourself to Portugal for the filming, which is just an airfare. You'll go with other distributors, so they all share an Airbnb and they work with the videographer and the photographer to get this done. Now, you'll also work with Rachel in a one-on-one Zoom session for marketing training. Now, what better person to get some marketing training with after you've got your marketing up and running? Rachel will come in and do a critique with you. And she is Vice President of Worldwide Marketing for the company. She
just has a knack with marketing.
She is amazing. So certainly that in itself is priceless. All of this is priceless, right? And you're going to get it for free just by deciding to become an M8 director. Now, it's not free if you decide to go the slow road and upgrade and just buy your M2 now. And you can't get it until you actually complete your M3 and your branding.
Yep.
So it's only available once you do it all.
It's only free if you buy it all together.
Correct.
Yeah.
If you buy it later, if you do your M2 now and your M3 later down the track, there's a cost involved to get this done. It's a discounted cost, but it's not free. So the only opportunity for you to get it done free is with the M8 upgrade. All right, so what else is important about this, Lee? So we'll just run through, if you're an M1 director, what you've got to actually invest in.
Yeah. So as an M1 director, you would need to purchase your M7 upgrade, M2, M3 and branding. You can see the totals on the screen. If you're already M7, you would get your M2, M3 and your branding.
And by the way, the selling director, so let's say it was ourselves, we actually contribute $1,000 to corporate over and above the cost of the products. So we're actually giving away $1,000 out of the profit of it back to corporate to help cover some of the cost in somebody doing this and then getting their free M6 as well.
Yep.
So certainly it's a win-win for everyone, right? At the end of the day, it's a win for you. You're picking up free. It's a win for the business and for corporate and for the selling director. So, we always talk about when you're in business, anything you do has to be a win-win. It's never a win-lose. If it's a win-lose, it's not a good business decision at all. So M7, of course, as Lee said, if you're already at M7, then you would just complete your M8 by your M2, M3 and branding. And that is it. That brings us to a close right on 8:59.
We're pretty clever. You weren't put on this earth to simply break even. You're here to break rules, break records, and break through.